Hey, good morning, everyone. So, I thought today I would talk a little bit about what it's like for me being an introvert. So, if any of you can relate to this, let me know in the comments. Let me know if you can hear me as well, because I have my phone a little different today because I don't know. I just felt like sitting like this. But, anyways, so first, let me share that I am an empath. That basically just means that I'm able to feel the emotions of other people. And there are times when the emotions of others can be so strong that it literally feels like they're my emotions. And so I have to take a pause to make sure that what I'm feeling is really from me or somebody else. And so a part of being an empath, I'm also introverted. And that is because I just feel I get overwhelmed or overstimulated when there's a lot of people around, or even people that just have a lot of energy. So there's that. And so I'm seeing in the comments that some of you are asking me questions, as if I were here to be an oracle or a psychic, which is cool. But today that's not happening. Also, don't just assume that someone is going to give you a reading, especially for free. You all need to start practicing paying for the energy that you are requesting, right? There has to be a fair energy exchange. So if you have a question and you would like an intuitive reading, definitely make sure that whoever you are asking that from, you are sending them a donation in advance, okay? Because nothing is free. Laws of the universe, energy exchanges with energy, right? So, yeah. I say all that to say, so I'm not doing any readings. Make a donation and then we'll see what happens. Don't many of you are just super ridiculous. I'm just going to tell you the truth about yourselves right now, okay? You're real ridiculous. You want stuff for free. You want to know the answers to things, but you're not willing to pay for those answers or pay for the energy that you're expecting to receive, right? Not everyone works for free. Some people will just give you readings, but that's not that's their prerogative, right? So anyways, that's me. Let me get off of my soapbox. For those of you who continue to ask questions, please leave a donation. I accept PayPal. And I believe that the information is tagged up here. Leave the donation. I accept PayPal. Anyways, thank you for the roses. I appreciate that. So, I'm an introvert. And it has nothing to do with the fact that I don't like people. I super love people. I think humans are amazing. I think that there's some really good folks out in the world. Let's see, what does this say? It's just that I personally cannot always be around a lot of people. Working in places where it's large groups of people sometimes overwhelms me, because sometimes I can feel people's emotions, but then I can also like feel what they're thinking, which is weird. And I didn't understand really any of this, and I used to work in a psych ward, a psychiatric hospital. And I don't know how I worked in that place for so long, but I did end up having to leave when I started having dreams that the patients were like rising from the dead and like coming into my home. But yeah, I did have to leave that place, but it would be like I would hear and see some of the most bizarre things that, like, very, very like bizarre spiritual, like things that I didn't excuse me, at the time I was not like a spiritual person. I didn't understand about, how spirits and entities and things like that really worked. I didn't understand about oppression. I didn't understand about possession. Okay. And so none of it really made sense. It wasn't until I started learning more about the metaphysical and the esoteric things of this world that mental illness actually began to make more sense. So as I was saying previously, I don't know how I even survived in working in a mental health hospital, because there were just so many people. So you I would have to deal with the patients, and then I'd have to deal with the staff. And sometimes the staff had their own, people are people, right? So they all have their own emotional stuff. They all have their own drama. They all have their own everything, right? So, yeah. So for me, I get overwhelmed sometimes when there's a lot of people around. I'm always looking for like a way out. That probably has a lot to do with the fact that when I was like in my 20s, I was at a club in Ohio, and like there was only, the club part was in the basement, and there was a fire on the first floor, and you had to like go out the back door of the basement, but for whatever reason, like the door wouldn't open. Like it was unlocked, it just wouldn't open. Nevertheless, like, you get into panic mode. So now I'm always looking for a way out. Wherever I'm at, I'm always looking for a way out. If there's a large group of people, even if we're outside, I'm always looking for a way out. Because I'm like, it's either I'm overwhelmed by all the people, or I'm nervous that something might go down and I need to know how to get out. Especially if I'm with my children, So, yeah, they probably did want me to help them cross over. I do have a connection to that. Like, my goal in life, once I finish school, like the schooling and the certification of it all, my goal in life is to be a death doula. So yeah, I'm just reading the comment that says that's really good. It's crazy dreams. Maybe it was because they wanted them to help you cross over and felt your energy. That's really good though, to always know your exits, especially the way the world is now. Yeah, absolutely. I always keep my eye open. So even like being an introvert with dating, you know. Uh, um, I always just like no, right? I like in college I dated this guy, and one day or one night I had this dream that him and his friends were like plotting to rob some place. The next day I saw him and I was like, "Hey," I told him about the dream and I was like, are you and your people thinking about doing that?" And he just kind of looked at me and he was like, "How did you know?" And I'm like, "Because in my dream, like I was there with y'all. Y'all were sitting at the table. I described the table. I described the room. Da 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 da." And I was like, "You don't do it." And I was like, "You guys are going to get caught." And I was honest with him and I was like, "You're not smart enough to be a criminal. So don't do that." Right? So there's that part of it. I probably have snake eyes, but nevertheless. Yeah, it's very cool. I love it. I love that ability. But sometimes it can be annoying because sometimes I don't want to know people's truths, right? And sometimes I want to only see the best in people, so I'm blinded by that, especially if they're narcissists. But but because of my experience with being married to one, now I'm very much open to my intuition and being guided by that. But as far as being an introvert, like sometimes it becomes very difficult for me to go to new places, especially when it's like involving my kids, because if I'm not familiar with the area, I'll get, it kind of feels like claustrophobic, but I'm not. I'm just like concerned, right? But I get out of my head and I just let them be who they need to be, right? I try not to control that part. I like with my son, with him being in basketball, take him to practice or what have you. And I'll sit, well, when he was younger, I would just sit in the bleachers, but like far away from people. But now that he's a little bit older, I'm able to sit in the car, right? If our daughter isn't isn't with me or what have you. If she's doing her like gymnastic stuff. So I just kind of am able to go like in between. Either way, I tend to stay to myself. I have very few friends, and it's not because like I'm not lovable. Like everybody I think should love me, but it's more or less just to protect myself. And because I don't want to know or feel everything about everyone all the time. And sometimes I forget to turn that off. Sometimes I forget to turn off, or not turn off, to like close my heart chakras. And sometimes it can be difficult for me to, sit back and process the energy. Sometimes just like, I know it's not me, leave me alone. I kind of like do like a wiping away of it. But it's definitely different. As I get older, I kind of like have these bouts with like loneliness. But then on top of that, it's like, but do I really want to have someone in my face all the time? Like, it's cool to have friends and go out. But then there's like a lot of times I'll get invited to go places and I'm like, I'm not going to that. Who's all gonna be there? Nope, I can't go because she is having issues with her dude. And she in all the advice you give her, and she don't want to listen. She doesn't want to do like, and it just becomes so aggravating and so annoying. And then I get an attitude because you're just talking and complaining just to be talking and complaining. Like you are satisfied with the drama in your life. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot. Some things that helped me though, as far as being introverted, is I will force myself to, talk. When I was little, my Aunt Mandy had told my grandma that I was an old soul because I would just sit and watch everyone. And I was very quiet, very, very observant. I looked to see what everyone was doing. I looked and followed everyone with my eyeballs. So, and I still do that to this day. And it's so funny, in junior high and high school, people be like, why are you staring at me? And I'd be like, I'm not even, honestly, I don't even see you. I'm in my own world. I'm following you, but I'm not following you. I'm following your energy and I'm seeing what your patterns are, whenever I meet people that are really, really interesting, I have to hold myself back from doing that deep dive into their brain and asking them 100 billion questions just to try to figure out what makes them tick. That is probably the most difficult part of it all. So I just like knowing. I like to know. Is it weird that I like to know everything? I like to know about how people feel. I'd like to know how people think, why they like to think, or why they think certain things. When I was younger, I wanted to be a psychiatrist or a psychotherapist. But then I realized when I was in college that even though I only wanted to do psychology, I would still have to do rounds on the other floors, and I would have to see blood. And I'd have to work with the older generation, geriatric population. I'd have to work with the babies in the NICU. I'd have to do everything, and I was like, no, I can't do that. I'm too sensitive for that. I'm too sensitive to see people, not necessarily too sensitive to see people pass away, but I just don't want that in my energy field. I think that at the time I didn't understand energy, right? Now that I'm understanding of energy and I understand that it's not really death, it's the death of the physical body, but it's the rebirth or rejuvenation of the spirit, because now it goes into a different life. It makes more sense to me, and it's not scary, and it's not overwhelming. But yeah. But I'll be honest, sometimes being an introvert is difficult because sometimes I just want to be super excited and be around a lot of people and talk and have a great time, But it takes a lot of work. I think just to be an extrovert, it takes a lot of work because even though you're seen, right? So, in my opinion, extroverts, they see everything too. but what they see, like they can activate their energy to where they're able to deal with everything at once. Whereas for me, I'm like, nah, I can only deal with one thing at a time. Or because then if I do too much, I go like into like overdrive, And then once the event is over, I literally will crash. It's like drinking 10 cups of coffee, being on this huge high, and then you crash. That's what it feels like, having an introvert crash, when you've like had a lot of activity happening at one time. And then it could take me like days to it can take like days for me to recover. It's really, really weird. Anyways, that's what it's like being an introvert. An empathic introvert at that. It's just really interesting. Let me take this. Do you guys ever use any type of immune support? I bought this propolis. To help with my immune support. Now that we've moved to a different state, I have really, really weird allergies that I haven't had since I've lived in Ohio. It's different. It's like in my throat, it always feels like there's phlegm like in my throat. In Ohio, I was like always congested, like there was a postnasal drip. Now here in Mississippi, I have this whole thing with my throat. In California, I didn't have any allergies. Like, to be honest, probably all the pollutants in the air probably killed all of like the natural pollens and things like that. So you know how that goes. So I really didn't ever have any allergy issues. Hold on for a minute, y'all. Let me see this. So I'm trying to get this kid into some stuff. I'm like waiting. I need to get some things approved and we can move on about our day. Just give me one moment, y'all. I apologize. Do any of you have any experiences with either being introverted, or you have a friend or a loved one, a coworker that's introverted? What are some things that you've noticed about them? Like, do you think that they're shy or like stuck up? That's what I used to get a lot when I was little. People used to think that I was super shy, that I was stuck up. And that's not the thing. Like, I wasn't shy at all. Like, I'm just trying to figure out who you are. I'm trying to read your energy so that I don't waste my time. And then I wasn't like stuck up either. It was just like, I'm just not going to be involved or around you because you're no good, right? When I was dating this guy, rest in peace to him, but he had a friend. And the first day that I met his friend, like, I didn't like him. I was like, there's just something about him I do not like. We went to his house. I was like, I couldn't get comfortable. I literally just stayed like in the foyer of the house like the whole time we were there. We were there for like maybe 45 minutes and I just stood there and I was like, I'm not coming in any further. The guy I was dating was like, what's wrong? Why are you like this? He's a good guy. And I was like, no, there's something about him that just is not good. Okay. So anyways, the guy I was dating at the time, he was a Mason. Anyways, he passed away. He ended up passing away back in like 2010. And his mom tells me later on that the dude, I can't even remember his name, but the dude that I didn't like, they were both in the same lodge, right? And he had did something in regards to, I guess, their bylaws. Now, don't quote me. But he had did something that the guy that I was dating had set up for their lodge. And the guy that I didn't like, in turn, it looked like he was the one that created whatever this thing was for their lodge. I'm like, see, I was probably foretelling that the guy was no good. But you know, there's something about some people where you're just like, yeah, that's not it. That's not it. If you're just joining, we're talking about being an introvert, what it's like for me. If you have experiences with being an introvert or with someone, go ahead and leave me a comment. Please remember, you guys, to follow me and then like this live. That's going to boost me being able to be pushed to more people and then be able to get more followers, do more with what I'm trying to do with this spiritual consultation type situation. Also, just a reminder that if there's anyone asking for any type of what do you call it? Any type of like readings, you guys always make sure that you are giving your donations to these people that you're asking readings of. It's really important that you understand that there is an exchange of energy. So let's just say you ask me, well, does my boyfriend really want to be with me? You know, make sure that I am now like going into my energy bank to talk to my spiritual team, to get in touch with your spiritual team. Like, there's a lot of energy involved. It's an energetic transaction, right? So you need to be willing to give. Like, take is not cool. Okay? Make sure that you're sending donations to people, right? Also keep in mind that in order to survive in this world, money is necessary. So donate. Don't be cheap, right? I saw somebody on here the other night. No, I was watching a live on YouTube and somebody donated to the girl 100 yen. And I'm like, that doesn't seem like a lot. Turns out, and you know, I had to go to Google and look it up. Turns out it was like 74 cents. And I'm like, how are you, like, this girl was giving them a full reading and you're only going to donate 74 cents? That's ridiculous. That is 100% just, I don't even know what word I am looking for other than ridiculous, disrespectful, lazy, just annoying. I would have blocked them. That's me though. That's just me. Like, don't ask me to do work for you and then not want to pay me. Right? That's like those class action lawsuits that are going on in California right now because employers were not paying their employees for the overtime. Like, pay the people. Services that you want rendered, you need to pay. Nothing is free. Don't ask people to do stuff for you for free, right? That's not how it works, right? Let me get off my soapbox. But it's true. It's 100% true. Stop doing stuff. Stop expecting people to give you guys answers for your life and you're not willing to pay or donate. Or you don't even like here on TikTok, you ask for a reading, you get the reading, you don't donate or pay what they're asking for. And then you don't even leave likes. Like nothing. It's so ridiculous. It's like you're inviting karmic energy into your life. It's crazy. I 100% think, now I'm going off on a tangent. I 100% think that everyone would benefit from understanding the basics of the 12 universal laws. I'm telling you, once you understand how energy works, it will change the game. A lot of things that you do, you'll probably stop doing, or you will how do I say, you'll improve your behaviors and your thoughts so that you will receive better, or you'll receive exactly what you want. Does that make sense? I'm just saying. I'm just trying to keep it 100 with y'all. Thank you guys for following. I'm trying to do better with my communicating. A lot of times, what am I looking for? My daughter left all of her snacks right here. I did not notice that. Anyways, I just lost what was in my head. That's a shame, because what I was about to say. Oh! I'm trying to do better with communicating, because for a very long time, I felt as if what I had to say was not important, or I believed that I was not able to convey a message. Like, I didn't believe that people understood what I was saying. But I've recently learned that has to deal with my throat chakra and me not trusting my thoughts, and not trusting what it sounded like when it came out, and not trusting my intuition. Like, it was just a lot. So I'm currently working on improving my communication and expressing myself exactly how I feel it and how I see it. Because a lot of times I don't see the words. I'll see a picture of something. So I have to convey what I'm seeing from the picture and be as descriptive as possible. So it's a part of it's a part of my clairvoyance, right? It's a part of how I see in my third eye. It's like looking at a movie screen before the movie starts, and it's all white, and then I'll see like pictures. I'll see maybe a scene playing out. I'll see might represent something. So I'm trying, well, I'm not trying, I am working on expressing those visions in a more descriptive manner, so that I feel as if I am conveying information properly. There's also a lot of feeling into it. Again, that's like my empath stuff. Thank you. And it's a lot. It's a lot. Sometimes I'll like purse my lips together when like I'm getting downloads about stuff. And so like with that download, it was like, don't say too much. Don't talk about everything yet. You can be open and you can be vulnerable, but don't say too much. So sometimes it's important to understand that you do not have to express 100% of your truths in order to get someone to understand you. Sometimes it's best just to say the basics of it all. And that way you're able to conserve energy and time. So there is that. Oh, that coffee is gross. It's getting cold now. So today is the new moon, not the new moon, the full moon. How many of you plan to do a release ritual? How many of you know what a release ritual is? So a release ritual is basically where you utilize the energy of the full moon and you release the things that are no longer working on your behalf, right? So what you can do is you can get a white candle, okay? And I like to before I do any type of ritual, I do like to consecrate over what I'm doing, which basically consecration is just a prayer. In respects to a release of stuff, as a release to release things, I like to say Psalms 55. When I'm doing a release. So I'll read Psalms 55, burn my white candle, set my intentions, and then I will burn my bay leaves. So on the bay leaf, I hold on, you guys, I'm sorry. Burn my bay leaves. So on the bay leaf, I hold on, you guys, I'm sorry. Burn my bay leaves. So on the bay leaf, I hold on, you guys, I'm sorry. Hold on, you guys, I'm sorry. Disturb was turned off. So I'll write the things that I want to release on my bay leaf, right? So I'll just take a bay leaf, right? And I'll just write whatever I want to release. So if you want to release fears, if you want to release limiting beliefs, if you want to release jealousy, if you want to release a mindset of financial lack, if you want to release, I don't know, grumpiness, laziness, like anything really that is no longer serving you because you're trying to ascend into a higher plane. You're trying to become a better person. You can write it on the bay leaf, right? You've already set your intentions. And then you just stick your leaf. You can do as many as you want. And then put this on your fire, on your flame, and let it burn. And it goes into the ether. And that is your like symbolism of removing all of the things from you, from yourself, from your psyche, from your aura that no longer are serving you. But in the same respect, you also have to work at not doing those things. Okay. You have to work on, like, if you don't want to procrastinate anymore and you release it, with the full moon and you put it on the bay leaf, then you also have to practice not procrastinating anymore. You have to start doing things like right when they're assigned to you. You have to you can't say, oh, I'll do it later. Like, you have to practice doing things immediately or in a timely fashion. Okay? I'm just saying. That's just how it works. In order for you to change your life, you have to change yourself. That's basically what it is. If you want better for your life, then you have to start being better. If you no longer want to attract fuckboys, then stop being fuckery yourself. I mean, that's it. Like, you're not gonna attract somebody if they can tell that like, you're not. Let me start over. If you want to attract someone that's of higher standard, then you need to raise your standard, right? You're someone who has a quarter to their name is not going to approach you if you are, first of all, you shouldn't be in any place where there's people that only have a quarter to their name. But you also, unless you're like doing volunteer work, right? Giving back to the community. But you also need to, carry yourself in a way and exude the energy that would keep anyone who is not of your standard from thinking that they could even approach you. That's basically it. Like, you have to raise yourself up vibrationally. You have to raise your frequency. How do you raise your frequency? What I like to do is I imagine feeling what it would be like to have whatever it is that I want. Okay, so let's say I wanted a new car. I would imagine the feeling of what it was like to drive that car, so that then I am receiving, or of having said car. Like, the universe doesn't understand if you want something or if you don't want something. The universe just understands the energy that you put out when you think about whatever said object is. Okay? So if you send out the energy of what you don't want, that's what you're going to get. If you send out the energy of what you want, then that's what you're going to get. So in turn, whatever you're focusing on, whatever you're feeling, the universe wants to add to that. So they want to give you The universe wants to give you what you are telling it that you want. And that's through how you are vibrating, your frequency, I guess you could say. Or you should say. Anyways, I don't know how we got to this subject, and I was talking about being an introvert. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes I go off on a tangent, and that's okay. I think it's just sometimes I will go off on a tangent because maybe there's someone in the room who needs to hear what I have to say. Anywho, what is this? Hold on, y'all. So fucking okay. Anyways, y'all. Let me go to these comments. I'm not going to say anything that you're asking me to say because I don't know what that means. And I'm not about to hex myself or anybody else or whatever the case may be. And that brings me back to to this. Y'all need to stop requesting things of people and not explaining yourselves. You guys, like, I don't even understand. I don't even understand why y'all do this. Like, why would you tell someone to say something and then not tell them what it means? Like, that's stupid. Don't ask somebody to do work for you and you not want to pay them. Right? Like, cut it out. Cut it all the way out. It's annoying. It's super, super annoying. What are you talking about? OMG, I'm cross-eyed too. Bitch, what the fuck? No, I am not Y'all just took me somewhere. I mean, nothing. If you are cross-eyed, like, number one, I appreciate your honesty. Number 2, you can have corrected surgery. Number 3, it would have been like that's something that your parents probably should have taken care of for you while you were young, or got you the therapies that you needed for that. But I'm not cross-eyed. Okay? Okay, thank you. So yeah. Can I say something? And just be aware that just because people are spiritual, that does not mean that you can just say anything and anything and everything to them and not think that they aren't going to cuss you out. Or don't think that they're not going to give you the same energy back. And yes, I understand it has to do with like emotional intelligence, but it also has to do with the fact that you're going to get the energy, you're going to receive the energy that you give. So if you give fuckery and bullshit, you're going to receive fuckery and bullshit. Why would I try to read that? This fool said, "Hi, I'm from Russia. Try to read the Russian word," and then he gives me Sanskrit. Y'all just be y'all are funny. Y'all are funny. Y'all just be doing weirdo stuff. This is why I understand why people have moderators. Because I'm just showing up wherever that. So we're just gonna go with that. Skills. Okay, cool. 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 Sometimes I think that people want to be seen so badly that they'll literally say anything just to get someone's attention, whether if it's, and they don't have any care in the world on if it's negative or positive attention, which is really, really sad. You should only want positivity. You shouldn't want someone to be giving you their energy and then their energy is full of negativity because you decided that you wanted to say something rude or negative or mean, like, or unnecessary. Like, sometimes I wonder, do people really think before they start talking? You know, like, is what you're about to say even necessary? Does it benefit you or the receiver in any way? Is it kind? Is it going with the flow of the conversation? Is it how you want to represent yourself in this life? You know, like, have you ever thought about, like, are you that person that just says stuff just so that people look at you? And you don't care if people are looking at you like you're stupid or like you don't have any sense or that you're, illogical. Like, you just want to say stuff just to be saying stuff because the attention is not on you anymore. It's so weird. Super, super weird. Let me see what's going on here. Let's see what else. So that's good. Now we're just waiting on... Sorry, y'all. I'm working while I'm talking to you. So what else is happening out there? So, okay, going back to what I was saying before, when you're doing a release, when you're doing any type of moon work, moon magic, moon spells, it's really, it's a good idea to find out when the moon is going to be at its best place for you to do your work. So you need to look it up. You could go, to like the Farmer's Almanac online, or really just go to any search engine and put in like your area code and then put full moon, and then it'll tell you the time for when the full moon will be at its peak. So like for me, it's today at 12:27 p.m. So that's when I'll do my my release ritual. And again, you can just write what you want to release on a bay leaf and burn it in a white candle. It doesn't have to be like one of those large, like 7-day candles. You can use, what are those little like those T-shaped ones. It just is helpful for it to be a white candle because, it represents purification, right? But nonetheless, I don't believe that the energy of the world is going to be like, oh no, you used a yellow candle, so we're not going to be able to help you release what you want to release so that you can be a better person. These are just things that, tools of the trade that you can use just to have different colored candles. But a candle is a candle. If it has a flame and it burns, then just go with it, right? That's my opinion. So yeah. Anyways, y'all, I think I'm going to call it a day or call it a moment for right now. I want to take a quick break and freshen up my water. So I will talk to you guys later. I hope you have a beautiful and wonderful day. All right. Bye.